It takes a special person to be a reformer, to have a passion for change and advancement so deep that an entire life and career is dedicated to the betterment of others. Born in Georgia on December 12, 1927, William G. Anderson, D.O., emerged from humble origins to become a beacon for others. Dr. Anderson's contributions to our society have been truly extraordinary, and his leadership in both civil rights and in osteopathic medicine stand as a testament to his passion for equality and commitment to medicine.
The town where I practiced is known for being the first of the civil rights movements, and there were many, many of them all over the United States. But this was the first grassroots, spontaneous movement, resulting in literally thousands of people going to jail. I became a part of that movement, although I had a very successful practice, a very comfortable practice. I was making a very comfortable living in rural Georgia as a physician. But I was sitting in the comfort of my office and seeing these people going off to jail, not knowing what their future would be, if they would have a future even. I got uncomfortable with that, and I got out there and started demonstrating with the people.
He paved the way. He blazed the trails, and he made it seem easy, and he did it with pride.
Our mother had been arrested, and she had been taken to jail there in Albany. And he said, I too will probably be going to jail, and I just wanted you young kids to know that we're doing this not because we're criminals, but because we have to stand up for what is right. He did go on to jail. Later, the people there in Albany selected him to lead the struggle, and this was the start of the civil rights movement there in Albany. They called it the Albany, Georgia Civil Rights Movement.
Dr. Martin Luther King, Dr. Abernathy, Dr. Anderson, and 6 or 7 other Negro citizens have been arrested by the Albany Police Department.
Well, in speaking, and I'm sure Dr. Anderson could deal with this much more intelligently, but I am sure that the Negro community in Albany will not be intimidated into a position of inaction or into a position of saying we will retreat.
On yesterday, when I told the chief of police that we were open for negotiations at any time, he told me that there would be no negotiations as long as we continued to protest and demonstrate. He said there would be no negotiations as long as this continued.
I think we'll go back to the city commission another time, and sooner or later, I do believe we will be heard and we will be given some just consideration. We will keep praying, we will keep singing, we will keep meeting, we will keep picketing, we will keep sitting in, we will keep waiting in, we will keep praying in, we will keep kneeling in, we will even march if necessary to see to it that our rights come where? Here. And when? Now.
I think back on those days when patients would call my office looking for me to take care of their physical needs, their health needs. And perhaps my receptionist would say, the doctor's not in today, he's in jail. Those same people were threatened with loss of jobs, loss of mortgages, loss of their personal security if they came to me as a patient. But even though they were called the day I was in jail and having been threatened not to go to me, the next day they would call and my receptionist would say, the doctor's in today, he's out of jail. My office would fill up immediately, which said to me this: the people recognized, not knowing what an osteopathic physician was, but they recognized that somehow I regarded them a little bit different from the doctors that they had been familiar with. That is, I cared as much about their physical health as I cared about their civic health, their social health, their religious health, about their personal lives. And therefore, not knowing what that distinctive thing was about osteopathic physicians, they realized that this is the way I like my doctor to be.
Bill Anderson came to me one day and he said, the deanship of the Ohio University's College of Osteopathic Medicine is open. He said, if you would be interested in applying, I certainly would support you. I've already given your name to a couple of people. And the fact that he was telling me that I had his support was enough incentive, maybe the safety net to say, well, hey, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. I have to thank him for that. You always need somebody out there saying, you can do it. And Bill is one of those people who says, you can do it. And so I did it.
He seems to have more energy than any person I've ever met. Even at his ripe young age, I see him in the office at 7:30 every morning. I see him getting out on the golf course 2 or 3 times a week. I see him on a plane 2 or 3 times a week. He has certainly visited every college in this profession on speaking engagements. He has so many awards and accolades that he has received.
Martin Luther King Jr., when he sought health care for himself, he came to me as a practicing physician now in Detroit, Michigan. He was cared for at Art Center Hospital, where I trained as a resident and I was on the staff. It was memorable that I had the opportunity of providing personal care, not only to Dr. King, but also to Rosa Parks. I became the personal physician for Rosa Parks throughout my practice career. People of that ilk recognized that osteopathic physicians had something to contribute that was perhaps unique, and they sought out osteopathic physicians.
After he and my mother completed their book, he said that all proceeds from the sale of that book would go to benefit minority students who were seeking careers in osteopathic medicine. So all the proceeds from the sale of that book have gone to the American Osteopathic Foundation. He says if we want to do what's right, we should not only walk the walk and talk the talk, but put up the money to help these students to pursue these careers and go on to help all of humanity.
It's his presence, I think, that has made osteopathic medicine stronger. He's so inspirational. He paints a picture of professionalism that our students need to see from the beginning so that they know this is what they aspire to be.
Growing up in our household, it was usually hard to get a word in edgewise. As you know, he is a very gifted talker, and he was never short on words around the house. So it was very rare that we were able to get our points in or our views heard because he was usually leading the show. Usually what he had to say was appreciated, not always agreed with, but at least listened to.
Dr. Anderson's ability to persevere and lead by example with passion and commitment to his ideals makes him an extraordinary American icon. William G. Anderson, D.O., truly stands alone in the history of both osteopathic medicine and civil rights. It is with great pride and tremendous honor that the American Osteopathic Foundation presents William G. Anderson, D.O., with the prestigious AOF Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations, Dr. Anderson, and thank you for your lifetime of service and dedication to the osteopathic profession.